a motion on support for senior citizens standing in the name of Mr. Henry Kwek.
Mr. Henry Kwek.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that this House believe that seniors are a gift to our society, contributing to a wise and resilient Singapore, and calls on the government to strengthen our support for our seniors to age with dignity and spearhead community efforts to create a society where our seniors can thrive. Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm moving this motion on behalf of a group of parliamentarians called PAP Senior Group, or PAPSG. I'd like to start my chat today by talking about two seniors in my constituency, Kebun Baru. Saraj, aged 72, spent his entire life keeping Singapore safe. He was one of our chief hostage negotiators for both SQ hijacks. After he retired, he continues to volunteer to pass down his wisdom. Today, he's a cornerstone of Kebun Baru's Yellow Ribbon outreach. Alice, aged 70, spent her entire life as a nurse. From 1986 to 2000, she built the modern ambulance service that we know. And then she continued serving for 30 more years. Today, she still leads our community emergency responders. All of us here within this chamber have met incredible seniors. Their stories etch in our minds. Some have done great things. Some have led simplified but dignified life. Their wisdom and their resilience have built Singapore. Our pioneers, soon to be followed by our baby boomers, are now growing old. They have been described as the coming silver tsunami. Last December, a UOB analyst even declared that Singapore's demographic time bomb will start ticking right this year. An aging population presents major challenges to the unprepared society. Less economic vitality, higher tax burdens on the young, and an integrated intergenerational fight for resources between the young and old. But we at PAPSG believe that we must and we will meet these serious challenges and then go beyond. Besides the challenges, we should also focus on the positive. More and more of our seniors are highly skilled and experienced, with a stronger ability to retire productively and to contribute to society. And this is what we believe to be the silver dividend. But creating this silver dividend requires a lot of work. We need to stretch our minds, stretch our hearts, and stretch our hands. If we are successful, our seniors can shine brightly in their autumn years. They can reflect on their lifelong experiences in comfort and dignity. They can pass down their very special spark to the next generation. And this is how we can build a wise and resilient Singapore, through values and experience passed down by each generation. Now, on what basis does PAPSG have this confidence? Well, Singapore is not the first or the only society dealing with the challenge of aging. Successful preparations requires decisive action and long-term planning, and these are precisely our strength. Our long-term planning has already borne fruits. Before this silver tsunami has hit Singapore, we have assembled the major policy pieces. Let me just give a few examples. One, in 5 short years, we have tripled our health care spending, and in percentages, I believe we have undergone the most aggressive healthcare expansion in the recent memory in any developed countries. 2, we have set aside many billions for our Pioneer Generation package and are spending a lot more for our Silver Support Scheme. 3, we have strengthened MediShield Life and are reviewing ElderShield Life. 4, we have improved retirement adequacy through higher CPF payoff. And 5, we have introduced lease buyback for seniors living in many HDB flats through the enhanced Silver Housing Bonus. 6, we have set aside $3 billion for the Action Plan for Successful Aging, a remarkable plan which calls for Singapore to be a kampong of all ages and a city of all ages with vast opportunities for our seniors. But as we frequently say in this chamber, we are not done building Singapore. Much has been done, but there's much more to do. And it is in this spirit that my fellow PAP SG MPs and myself would like to put on additional ideas for consideration. Today, we'll talk about retirement adequacy, retirement housing, seniors' employability, volunteerism, the digital divide, digital medicine, and caregiver support. We are fully aware that meeting the challenge of aging is expensive. In fact, some of us deeply worried about how to pay for meeting our promises to our seniors, who are still creating a bright future for our children. So whatever we do today or put in place tomorrow must be prudent and sustainable. Otherwise, we'll be loading an unfair burden to future generations. Fortunately, the key to success requires more than government dollars. It requires society to come together to create community initiatives to support our seniors. As such, my fellow PAP-SG members and I will speak about our community initiatives for seniors, and we believe in this, and we want them to spread across Singapore. Mr. Deputy Speaker, for my own speech today, I will focus on maintaining the dignity of our elderly. We will all grow old one day. Even now, many of us are seeing our parents age. When I speak to my peers, a common theme emerges. Dad once carried us on his shoulders, but he's looking so frail recently. Mom used to nag us not to forget this or forget that, but now she's forgetting some things. And we start wondering, what will we do when they can no longer take care of themselves? We would like to all take care of them at home, but sometimes it's not possible for medical, financial, or family reasons. A friend told me that he looked into some nursing homes, but the seniors there looked so sad that he couldn't bear to. They were given basic care, but they couldn't pursue their own interests or social life. Nobody cared for what they wanted to do, or what makes them unique and what gets them out of bed every day. In other words, they are okay, but they have lost their dignity. This is not the only way seniors have lost their dignity. Seniors lose their dignity when they can't pay for their retirement years, when they have to move on somewhere affordable and leave their social circles. Seniors lose dignity when they are viewed as burdens to society. Our seniors deserve the dignity. Many seniors feel that if they lose dignity, a longer life is not a blessing. Mother Teresa said, being unwanted, unloved, uncared for, forgotten by everybody, I think there's a much greater hunger, a much greater poverty than the person who has nothing to eat. I'm sure none of us want our parents and our nation's pioneers to be in this state, and we certainly don't want to be in this state one day. With that in mind, I'd like to propose 3 policy changes. 1, changing regulations to enable affordable, dignified living options for all seniors. 2, introducing regulations to help our seniors, especially our private estate residents, to monetize their housing assets. And 3, introducing caregiver leave. My first proposal is to strengthen affordable, dignified options for our seniors. Some nursing homes that are built long ago still have many seniors sharing a room. At some homes, overworked staff don't have time to say hi or chat. The lack of autonomy, meaning, and privacy in many nursing homes and retirement homes is a huge factor why 8 in 10 Singaporeans worry about getting old, and why many of us still view these homes as dumping our parents there. But when Singaporeans genuinely cannot take care of their parents at home, they shouldn't have to feel that they are inferior. We should have better options. Fortunately, we're beginning to see new types of nursing homes and senior housing. So with regards to senior homes and nursing homes, I believe we are making an important transition. And there have been some solid success. For example, we have created the new Kampong Admiralty for HDB dwellers who want a comfortable assisted living home option. Kampong Admiralty has senior housing built on top of a common community plaza with a hawker center and medical facilities. The designers also wisely put the senior activities center next to the kindergarten. I visited Kampong Admiralty with some of my architect friends to study the layout. We went away very impressed. I hope we can build many more kampong amenities. They can serve as our mothership to build surrounding flocks of conventional flats and be the anchor to our kampong for all ages. I'm also glad to hear that Minister Gan is looking into various assisted living options for many Singaporeans, just like the options offered at Kampong Amity. Today, we also have many more choices in nursing homes, which I consider a partial success. There are homes where seniors have more autonomy, privacy, and activities. But they cost from nearly 4,000 to 15,000 a month. Obviously not affordable for the vast majority of retirees, even those staying in private estates. We must make more of such options more affordable. We also had experiments on private retirement homes or assisted living arrangements, although I feel that we have not yet discovered the right model. I've been following a site at Jurong Kechil that has been built as a potential retirement home. But because the developers had to bid against conventional residential developments, some has questioned whether it turned out to be more a condominium than a retirement home. In short, there are still gaps. We need to quickly assemble a full range of good options at different price points for our seniors. Both our seniors living in HDB and private estates must have choices to either age in place, right-size the right place, live in an assisted living environment or retirement village, or move to a nursing home. Just as important as choices is affordability. We must change regulations and laws to help our seniors monetize their assets to pay for them, and we must create these options now. A senior lecturer in NUS who was part of the group advising me on senior housing shared this with me. Please tell the government that this is urgent. We are getting older and older every day. There's no time for us to wait for more reviews and more studies. We need these choices now. After studying the existing gaps and options, I would like to propose 4 ways for the government to create a broader range of choices. 1, the government can have a separate land use category for retirement or assisted living homes. We can design it so that only properly regulated players can bid. These players as an industry must offer various price points. And how do we make sure that there's no race to the bottom? Simple. The government can charge property tax based on the revenue intensity of their operations, which depends on the price point of the offering. With a separate land use category, land sales could fetch a lower amount, but today we already ascribe different values to industrial parks, to schools, to public housing, because they are important to our society. So why not for retirement homes? We can experiment with a few projects and then fine-tune along the way. There are also ways to ring-fence the costs to the rest of society through creative land use, such as allowing for usage in certain religious land. I know a particular church that is very keen to explore doing so. We can also look at spaces on top of car parks, spaces between HDB blocks. 2, the government can put in watertight regulations on what constitutes a retirement home, even without a separate land use category. The government must get developers to clearly spell out what assisted services, service standards, and pricing to offer. But it will be a partial solution because the existing land use is unlikely to rule out non-seniors from buying, and there's always the temptation from speculators or shoebox apartment buyers to price genuine senior buyers out. 3, the government can embrace legislations similar to the Australian Retirement Village Act, which govern the relationship between retirement homes and the seniors staying in it. Specifically, we can look at the Retirement Village Acts in both Queenstown and Queensland and Victoria states. 4, the government can provide a GFA bonus to selected older condominiums that want to be partially or fully transformed into a retirement village. Pearl Bank is an excellent example. Pearl Bank is a condominium with a deep sense of community and unique architectural value, and it's also very near SGH. There's been talk about en bloc and conservation. Many residents want to en bloc, which require land intensification, which will allow residents of Pearl Bank to top up their lease. And one exciting option is to intensify by building an additional 150 units of senior housing on top of their existing car park, and also building more facilities catered to the seniors while keeping the unique architectural makeup of the rest of the development. Yet, they are constrained from doing so, at least through the en bloc route, because they have maximized their GFA under the current regulation. If URA can view them as potential retirement residential development, can these regulations be relaxed? Beyond Pearl Bank, I'm sure there are other private estates that could voluntarily work with the government to be converted into a full or partial retirement residential development. My second proposal is to help our seniors, especially those living in private estates, monetize their housing assets. Seniors lose dignity when they cannot afford to pay for their retirement years. For many Singaporeans, our most major asset is our home. Monetizing options are in place for seniors living in 4-room HDB or smaller flats, but not for seniors in other housing type. In my constituency, there's a private estate called Teachers' Estate. As the name tells you, the seniors there are mostly retired teachers. But now, some of them are asset-rich and cash poor. They do not qualify for most assistance schemes because they live in private estates. They tell me that they do have the option of downsizing, but it's hard to find affordable options nearby which can also free up enough money for retirements. And when they move, they are cut off from social circle. So we need to look into more options that enable them to age in place. Again, why has the market not provided such an option? Two reasons. For many retirees living in private housing, they live frugally, so they might not only need tens of thousands of dollars each year in retirement. But banks are not interested in lending them secured loans in such quantums. This is because, given the razor-thin margin of reverse mortgage, the banks have limited interest in secured loans for less than 200,000 to 300,000. Talking to the private and people sector, I see at least two solutions. The first is to get the government to encourage and regulate social enterprises or co-ops to undertake such reverse mortgages. Let me get this straight. I believe the numbers can work out and there's no need for the government to co-fund and co-share the risk. The social enterprise or co-ops can also securitize their asset in the financial markets, and this can be done given Singapore's status as a center for REIT. Government regulations can also ensure that the social enterprise or co-ops is properly capitalized, the reverse mortgage valuation process is proper, the fees are transparent and appropriate, and we can also push the social enterprise or co-op to go for transparency and accountability, perhaps by getting them to declare a socially acceptable and transparent cost-plus financing model. The second solution is for the government to encourage and regulate specialized funds for seniors to monetize their assets. We can look at innovation happening in funds. Retirees sell their assets to a fund that is based on the French concept of VIGL, property contracts. Seniors sell their assets to a fund who owns a portfolio of properties. When property deeds go to the funds, the seniors have the right to stay in the property until they pass on one day. Based on market valuation, actual studies, and the fund's desired returns, the fund pays the senior an upfront payment, followed with a lifelong of annuities. We can even consider adding life insurance payoff into the housing equity to increase the amount of assets that seniors can monetize. The government can also consider regulating how the funds are capitalized to make sure that the funds are not over-leveraged, and the transparency of the returns and the actuarial basis of the fund payoff. My third proposal is to introduce senior care leave. Seniors lose dignity when their loved ones are not with them in time of need. Aging, falling sick, and one day departing from the world is a fate we all share. As we depart quietly into the night, our loved one's presence will comfort us through that inevitable journey. Senior caregiving leave can help. I propose starting with 4 days of senior care leave for a selected group of Singaporeans who are already caregivers for their parents. This will come to a cost to the companies, but there are ways to limit the cost to deserving situations. One, we can limit it to Singaporeans with parents aged above 70. Two, we can limit it to eligible Singaporeans who have less than 14 days of annual leave, because these Singaporeans have even less time to care for their parents compared to others. Three, at the start, focus on companies with more than 100 employees. These companies have the means to adapt. Four, adopt a tripartite process to deliberate on this. As mentioned earlier, government programs are only part of the equation. Our community must also step up. There are many excellent programs throughout Singapore, and there's much opportunities to share best practices. PAPSG hopes to spur such conversation. For example, in my constituency, I started something called Hope Collective. It brings together the two gooders of Kebun Baru together, whether or not they are government agencies, VWOs, grassroots committees, or even new groups of volunteers. We're already seeing synergy. For example, we have an elderly befriending program called Project Starfish. Through Hope Collective, they have partnered with another group called Mummy Yummy that delivers vegetarian meals to the needy. So they have brought together their strength and brought to our seniors to our community center for regular meals. The seniors loved the food, and the meals broke their social isolation. Now, Project Starfish and Mummy Yummy are bringing in more student volunteers through Hope Collective so they can expand their outreach. They're also working with the police to share the workload. Through Hope Collective, we also take a comprehensive view and plug in the gaps. For example, we have a pool of lawyers who can educate and advise on legal matters, such as LPAs. We also want to move towards dementia readiness. Overall, our vision is to build a culture of respect, love, and care for our seniors. We want to build a kampong for all ages. I look forward to learning more ideas from my colleagues in this session. So, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, let me wrap up my opening speech. Some medical professions say our elder care has to catch up with first world standards. I say we should, and then go beyond that. Just as our seniors have built a world-beating economy for us, we can be the world leader in building a senior-friendly society for them. It seems like a tall order until we remember that everybody has parents and everybody will grow old. So everybody has a vested interest in getting this sorted out. If government can provide the right structure, it will unleash the society's energy to do so. In fact, the three ideas I've laid out today will do precisely that. Of course, aging presents serious challenges, even for a nation as united and organized as Singapore, but we should not shy away from meeting these challenges. As PM Lee said in his 2014 National Day rally, at the heart of the Singapore story is our belief in Singapore. Belief that we can turn vulnerability and despair into confidence and hope. Belief that out of the trauma of separation, we can build a modern metropolis and a beautiful home. But I would like to ask this chamber today, what is a beautiful home? It is a place where we can live with dignity, no matter our age, where we can rest assured that we can take care of our families, where the community does right by those who sacrifice their best years for us. Because only when we have done that can we say, this is home truly. Questions proposed.